Welcome to an SFB Addict video. The art used in this video is from Adam Turner's DeviantArt page, Ted Giebel's SFBnexus.com, and from the ADB StarfleetGames.com website. Also, apologies for the degraded audio, but we have kittens in the house and they've chewed my microphone cable, and it has created extra static that I've had to clean up with some software. My favorite Gorn ships. Well, this is an interesting one because Gorn are my favorite Starfleet battles race. Their ships have a symmetry that soothes the inner OCD neatness addict. They're symmetrical vertically and horizontally. While the Gorn only made a brief appearance in Star Trek the original series, they made a massive impression on the audience. So much so that the next Star Trek show should seriously look into incorporating them using costumes along the lines of Babylon 5's Narn. Anyway, onto the Gorn in SFB. The Gorn, Romulan, and ISC Interstellar Concordium are the eastern part of the Federation and Empire map in the Starfleet universe. They are the plasma races. Gorn ships undergo refits over time. So to understand the refits, we need to understand the timeline in the Starfleet universe. Year 0 is Earth's development of warp drive. Kirk's original series era would be about year 156 to year 158. Gorn ships start out with 20-point G torpedoes in year 120, get refitted to 30-point S torpedoes with the plus refit in year 170. Later, they have a short-range 20-point F-torp and Phaser 3 refit added, called the F refit, in year 175. However, Gorn ships do something that most other races' ships don't or can't do. They upgrade their class. Their light cruiser, for instance, has a rear bubble section added, making it into a heavy cruiser. The middle of the heavy cruiser is cut in half horizontally and a middle section added, and the ship becomes a Dreadnought. The Dreadnought is cut in half vertically, a section is added, and it becomes a battleship. Similarly, their war cruiser has a bubble added and becomes a medium cruiser. Their destroyer has a rear bubble added and becomes a war destroyer. So you have light cruisers that become heavy cruisers, that become heavy command cruisers, that become heavy battle cruisers, that become dreadnoughts, that become battleships. Or within the class itself, you have refits over time. The light cruiser becomes the light cruiser plus refit, and then it becomes the light cruiser plus F refit. The heavy cruiser becomes the heavy cruiser plus, or the heavy cruiser plus F, also known as the battle cruiser. So a heavy cruiser might exist for 45 years and then get the G to S upgrade. It can then 5 years later get the plasma F and Phaser 3 upgrade. So is this one ship or 3? Gorn ships are also always ready for ground assaults. Typically, their ships carry 4 to 6 shuttles, where other races might have 1 or 2. They also have a neat way of launching them all at once, where other races can only launch 1 or 2 at a time. They have a shuttle balcony system, balcony and track. Shuttles are moved out on a rail system onto the ship's wings over several impulses and held there. They can then all be released and launched at the same time. This 2-wing balcony design system means all Gorn ships have at least 2 shuttle bays. This has tactical implications in combat. The Gorn, being a plasma race, use plasma torpedoes. Plasma torpedoes as heavy weapons are a 3-turn arming weapon, and they are a seeking weapon to boot. That is, the plasma is placed on the map and it travels to and chases its target until it hits or it runs out of fuel. While Romulans have old ships with large, powerful plasma Rs at 50 points of damage point blank, most Gorn cruisers, with a few exceptions, have 2 S torpedoes at 30 points each for more flexibility, but with a shorter range. Their small ships have 1 G 20-point torpedo. Their R torpedoes are mostly found on their Dreadnoughts. Each plasma has a different lifespan or fuel range. Plasma launchers on the ship have varying tracking arcs from fixed straight ahead for the big plasma Rs on the Dreadnoughts to 180 degrees left side, right side, or left portion, right portion, or forward portion. Plasmas have tremendous flexibility in engagement modes. The larger plasmas can double the final energy arming turn to produce either an enveloping torpedo that surrounds the target and damages all shields, or can subdivide into smaller warheads for multiple targets. They can even collapse the ball of plasma into a direct fire beam weapon, although for less damage. The Gorns also have a special close-range direct fire method for their small plasma F torpedoes that makes them a one-turn firing weapon almost as effective as a disruptor. My favorite Gorn ships are the War Cruiser and Leader variant, the Light Cruiser, its various refitted forms, and a couple of its variants. The first ship, the HDD, or so-called Heavy Destroyer, at 117 battle point value. It's called the Destroyer, but it's a light cruiser, war cruiser, in combat effectiveness. It has 5 phaser 1s, 1 left side, 1 right side, 1 360, 1 that is front arc left, 1 that is front arc right. 2 phaser 3s, 1 left side, 1 right side, 2 F torpedoes, 1 left portion, 1 right portion, 1 S torp forward portion, 4 shuttles with its 2 bays, and balcony and track positions. Its Romulan opponent would be the Sparrowhawk at 135 or 115 without cloak. The command or leader variant of the Heavy Destroyer, the CDD, at 132 BPV, it's called a destroyer, but it's really a cruiser in combat power with 8 phaser 1s, 2 that are 360, 2 left side, 2 right side, and 1 that is front arc left, 1 front arc right. 2 plasma Fs, 1 left portion, 1 right portion, and 1 S torpedo forward portion, and has 4 shuttles. Its Romulan opponent would be the Sparrowhawk L at 143 BPV or 122 without cloak. The light cruiser, its first incarnation in year 121, is a 92 BPV ship that is actually a destroyer in combat effectiveness. It has 40 points of plasma. It has 2 G-torps, 1 left front and 1 right front, 4 phaser 1s, 1 left side, 1 right side, 1 front arc left, 1 front arc right, and 6 shuttles, 2 of which are ground assault shuttles. It has 2 shuttle bays, and has 4 balcony and track positions. This is a weapon-for-weapon match for its Romulan-class rival, the Battlehawk. Its second incarnation, the CL Plus, in year 170, is the same ship at 108 BPV, where the 2 Gs are upgraded to 2 S torpedoes, left portion, right portion, so it goes from 40 points of plasma to 60 points of plasma. At this point, it deserves the name Light Cruiser. It has all the same phasers as the CL in the same positions, 4 phaser 1s. Its Romulan match is the War Eagle at 103 BPV with a single 50-point R torpedo, where the Romulan has 1 stronger, longer-lasting torpedo and a cloaking device. The Gorn has 2 shorter range, smaller torpedoes. Its third incarnation in year 175 is the CLF at 122 BPV with 100 points of plasma, where it receives 2 F-torps, one left side, one right side, and 2 phaser 3s as a refit, left side and right side. At this point, the CLF still has shields worthy of a destroyer, but now has the firepower of a heavy cruiser, at least in terms of plasma. It still has 4 phaser 1s. The historical opponent would be the 132 BPV KR with 2 S-torps and 7 phasers, 3 of which are phaser 1s, 4 of which are phaser 2s, or the 140 BPV King Eagle with its 1 R-type and 2 F-torps, 4 phaser 1s, 2 phaser 3s. A favorite variant is the COM plus F. At 93 BPV with 80 points of plasma, it is a commando transport, still a destroyer hull, but edging close to a true light cruiser for combatability. It has 4 phaser 1s, 2 phaser 3s, and 4 F-torps, 5 shuttles, one of which is a heavy troop shuttle, 5 transporters, and 32 boarding parties, where the CL has 8 boarding parties. It becomes very effective with the Gorn carronade weapon system with its F-torps. So every single turn it can carronade mode fire each of its 4 F-torps, doing typically about 4 points of damage each with each torpedo when it's within range 5, which is where it wants to be as a troop transport in order to beam boarding parties onto the enemy ship to capture it. Another favorite variant is the SRVF. It's a survey cruiser. At 109 combat battle point value and 40 points of plasma, it still has a destroyer shielding and effectiveness and combat. It has 4 phaser 1s, 1 left side, 1 FAL, 1 FAR, and 1 right side. 2 phaser 3s, 1 left side, 1 right side. 2 F-torps, 1 left side, 1 right side, but has 4 sensor channels for electronic warfare. And these are built in such a way that damage overloads can be steered away from the 2 F-torps to be taken on 2 of the 4 sensor channels in damage, preserving the F-torps for battle. And as all survey cruisers does, it has 2 probes. It has 8 shuttles, 6 of which can be fighters. So that's 120 points of plasma on the fighters alone. The fighters are 10 BPV per fighter. It can be refitted into a heavy survey carrier, HSV, which adds a rear bubble, improves the power systems, and adds 4 phaser 1s, left side, right side, rear arc left, rear arc right, for 11 more combat BPV. As mentioned with the HSV, the light cruiser's next non-variant incarnation or previous incarnation time-wise in year 121 is a refit from light cruiser to heavy cruiser at 120 battle points with 40 points of plasma. It adds a rear bubble and improves power systems and adds 4 phaser 1s. Again, rear arc left, rear arc right, left side, and right side to the light cruiser's already existing 4 phaser 1s and 2 Gs. In year 170, it gets upgraded to the CA+. It has 6 balcony and track positions for its shuttles, and it's 146 BPV. The G-torps are upgraded to left portion, right portion plasma S's. So it has 60 points of plasma. In year 175, it becomes the battle cruiser, or the heavy cruiser plus refit, F refit. It has 2 S-torps instead of the 2 G-torps, and it has 2 F-torps added and 2 phaser 3s added. The phasers and plasmas are each 1 left side and 1 right side. So it now has 100 points of plasma. The ship can further be refitted to a heavy command cruiser with 3 balcony and track positions each side. It's the heavy command cruiser with 2 more phaser 1s at 171 BPV over the battle cruiser. And again, it can be refitted to a heavy battle cruiser, or BCH, with 4 balcony and track positions each side at 192 BPV, where it adds a forward portion Plasma S, as well as more shielding and a few other system changes. It can even be refitted all the way to a Dreadnought, where that forward portion S becomes an FA Plasma R torpedo at 50 points. Of course, most of those refits went straight from Battlecruiser to Dreadnought, skipping the CCH and the BCH refits, which actually occurred later in the timeline. The DNR, while conjectural, is my favorite Dreadnought variant. It should be. I designed it. It has 10 phaser 1s, 1 FAL, 1 FAR, 2 left side, 2 right side, 1 RAL and 1 RAR, and 2 360. It has 3 Plasma R torpedoes, LFL, FA, and RFR. It has 8 shuttles, 2 bays, and 4 balcony and track positions each wing. The normal Dreadnought F would be 2S, 2F, 1R. It differs from the CCH and BCH, where 2 of the phaser 3s are instead exchanged for 2 phaser 1s 360. And that's it for this video. What are your favorite Gorn ships and why? Remember, if YouTube vids you're watching don't have at least 1 million views, that means the creator isn't making any money. It takes 100,000 monetized views of the ads for the creator to make any money. And to get 100,000 monetized views takes roughly about 1 million views. So consider donating. Thanks for watching.